your big Hollywood sunglasses and light the torch, because it's cellar time. Welcome to the Crack Cellar. As the prophecy was once foretold, I'm Two-Spirit Penguin Daniel.
And I am the broadest of casters, Mr. Nickels.
Oh, Mr. Nickels, I hear that you have gotten many steak-taculars lately, and that there may be a subpar T-bone dry-aged 47 days.
Dude, are you
on its way
some type
to you.
of bungee show, man? Our fucking 343 show? I haven't touched that game in a week.
I haven't touched that game in 3 days, god damn it.
Came back for TAC Ops, took their shit, and I left. As every decent Halo player is pretty much doing right now.
Yeah. Yep, the Vaporware fucking co-op campaign continues to be delayed. I'm sure SourceForge will, or not SourceForge, The Forge, whatever they call it. That'll come out, but it'll be shitty. It'll be worse than people thought.
This is probably one of your best predictions, I'd have to say, of all time. Because if you were a content creator and you were saying Vaporware from day zero about Halo, you'd be getting so many views right now. Because as every day goes by, and these guys are just burying themselves over at 343, you're being like, Vaporware is hyperbolic, right? That's usually a term you wouldn't use for a game that's literally out, that was done by a AAA publisher. When someone would say it's vape, like they're never gonna give you the things that they say they're gonna give you, you'd be like, okay, dude, whatever. You just clearly don't like the game. But this is clearly one of those examples where everyone's kind of looking at each other, just going like, what the fuck's going on? Like, they have an infinite pool of fucking content or assets to pull from in the Halo universe, and they're doing nothing with them. You know, how many times can you have the conversation like, where are the game modes at? Where's Forge at? Where's Theater at? Where's custom game modes at? Blah 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 blah. It's like none of it's coming. It doesn't seem like they can do it. So when you say Vaporware, you're like, it's spot on. And you were saying it from like day one when I was like, co-op's delayed again. And you're like, it's not coming, bro. I got something to tell you, bro. Let me tell you. It's not coming.
Sometimes they say dead's better.
I literally chalked you up to be just a hater. I was like, this guy just doesn't understand Halo.
He just doesn't understand. Oh, man. Yeah. What a wonderful time to launch a woke TV series based on Halo 2. such a great timing with Halo shitting the bed and not delaying everything and just breaking all promises. They keep
that guy they got playing his voice is so jarring too.
Master Chiefs?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently, I don't know because I haven't looked deeply into this Halo series past the trailer we watched. But apparently they've revealed what he looks like in some sort of promotional image, and people are like not happy about the casting. Don't know why, but that is what I've heard.
Because he's not Master Chief. He's not a pale, bald-headed ginger that doesn't speak and is a sociopath underneath the armor.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen. I mean, I was always expecting a little different of a chief, but they clearly just have no respect for the source material at all. Like,
none.
Like, we're just taking the name, guys. We're just using things to get you to come. We don't want you to fucking actually care about what we're writing here.
Yeah, I don't remember if we talked about this when we did the preview of the Halo TV series, but I've read a few interviews from the creators, and you can they literally will admit, they're like, well, we talked about it initially, but we decided we just want to do our own thing, and we're not going to follow the source material at all. And I'm just like, man, most of the time people are cagey about that. They try and like sort of like speak in half-truths and are like, well, we do respect the source material, but we deviate a little bit from time to time. These guys are just like, we'll fuck it.
They literally like tweeted about it, didn't they? They were like, yeah, we didn't do any of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And it's just like, man, it's so hard to do a video game based movie or TV series. So many have tried, so many have failed. Halo could have been done really well if you like took like what was the Terminator from like the late 2000s, the gritty war like reboot version of Terminator. Redemption? Was that what it was called?
You're talking about Salvation?
Salvation, yeah.
Yeah,
If
the
they
one with
kind
Christian
of
Bale.
Yeah, no, like I don't think that was a great movie. I think it was okay. But you know how it was sort of framed in like this sort of gritty, like war is hell kind of way? They kind of did that with Halo. I think it would have served us a little better, but you can clearly tell that this isn't being framed like that. In fact, it looks like we're going to have pretty war. It's just going to be very pretty war with lots of pretty women and de-emasculated men. And it seems like it's just going to be a drama. Like it's going to be a bunch of girl drama stuff. Like from what I can tell. The main character is that little girl. Remember that little girl we saw in the trailer?
Yeah.
She's the main character of the show, man.
She like the main, from what I understand, the main plot is Master Chief disobeying direct orders to help her survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, all that being said, I'm still going to watch it, but I'm not expecting much. I'm not even sure if I'll finish it, but I'll at least watch the first episode.
Speaking, while we're talking about turds.
Oh shit, here we go.
Of the Halo variety. Halo's original creators, the ones we know as Bungie.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out they might be the fucking fourth horseman of the content creating apocalypse.
Go on.
I just randomly came across this video today when I was at work and I was watching on my break. And right now, they're on YouTube, and I guess this is in theory any popular content creating site in the future going forward for people that stream and make videos primarily about video games they play.
Yeah.
In the contract, in the terms of service, they straight up say that you're not allowed to do it. Like what you're doing, what everyone's been doing for years. Like in the terms of service for most of these games, and I'd say like 90% of the games, they straight up say you're not allowed to use our game to make content unless it's like absolutely your content, like it's like 80% changed or something, like or whatever the rule is, right? And when you go to these websites like Twitch or YouTube, you have to sign a terms of agreement that says that you're not infringing on the terms of service of the game or whatever you're using in your video or whatever. You're not violating their rules or whatever.
So this sounds like it was made to stop streaming.
Yeah. So right now, this video pretty much enlightened me to pretty much this whole industry is just running on the just ignoring those rules. Like everyone, they're like, this is free advertisement. We'll throw them some bones every once in a while. It's worth it because the amount of advertisement they do is like insane. It would cost us so much more money to do it ourselves, type of thing. You can see that's where this industry has been going for lately. Or I mean, that's how this tiny little industry has been going. But now, just as of like last week, there's this famous content creator named Bife, who is like, my name is Bife.
I like that.
Is the channel's name, and he does nothing but Bungie lore video or Destiny lore videos, and his channel got a strike this week, pretty much saying that his videos were in violation of their fair use policy. So he reached out about it, and he was just like, so he looked, essentially after it happened and everything, he looked into it, and then he pretty much stumbled upon all this information I just told you. That he's just like, well, wait a minute. We're not even allowed to do in Bungie's fair use in terms of service and under like in-game usage content or whatever the fucking title was called. They straight up say that you don't have a right to do what you're doing at any given point commercially. And if they did give you permission at any given point, they can still deem whatever you did to be wrong and revoke your permission at any given time. So it's just like, it kind of blew my mind that like this whole industry of streamers and stuff like that, people that stream Fortnite and stuff, or Call of Duty Warzone, or pick your game. It's just all running on the idea that there will always be enough money in these people playing their games. But one day that well will dry up and the whole industry will collapse unless they pivot somehow. Because it's like all these kids, they're just literally, they're thinking like they're seeing this whole generation getting rich on streaming. And it literally seems like it's going to be the end of it one day, because I don't see how people going forward are going to make content for companies like Bungie when they can literally just be struck at a whim and their whole career's gone. Over
that makes
like
no sense. So this guy that got the strike, what does he actually put on his video? Is he just put like gameplay footage randomly? Is it like all gameplay footage looped? What is it?
No, like he's a lore guy, so he actually digs into like the in-game lore of the game, and he just puts on background like gameplay of like Destiny 2, like in Crucible or something like that, while he talks and shows little snippet, like he has like little tiles fly across the screen that like actually show the text that he's reading off, which is part of the lore, which they don't pay anybody to actually read this lore to you in the game. He has a great voice. He fucking does it all himself. And then just a few years later, randomly, they're just like, yeah, you can't do that.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Like I'm sure it's all gonna just get swept under the rug. I'm sure because he went at Bungie hard this week. I'm sure they're gonna have like a little meeting or PR disaster meeting or whatever you want to call it, and they're probably gonna take back everything they did and say there was an accident or blah blah. We actually going forward are gonna have to define our rules better. Who knows what's gonna happen? But it's just like things like that just really make you look at the whole streaming industry, where you're just like, wow, it's really so fragile. Yeah. Like you can just at any minute, one of these companies or the one of the video game companies or the company that you're streaming on or whatever it is could just fucking pull the plug from you immediately. And some of these kids are making good fucking money. I can't imagine the withdrawal from something like that at such a young age. Because it's hard to mimic
some people. When this industry goes boom, the people that like were just starting it and just getting into it, those are the people that are fucked, because they're like their entire life's course is going to be based on this career that they just started that just seems foolproof, and they're going to get just old enough to where it's going to be hard to start over, and they're going to be asked to start over. Those people are not going to be in for a nice ride.
Like OnlyFans, man. It's like when they were like, no more porn, and they're like, nah, psych.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds to me like Bungie made this rule very strict on purpose. You said most of the industry uses it, so let's just say the industry made this rule very strict on purpose for a reason that they will let people do it. They'll look the other way until you say something or do something they don't like. Then they can point to their TOS and be like, "You were breaking the rules the whole time, buddy. Get lost." But with people that don't do something they dislike, they just pretend to not know they exist.
It's like, it's so much more than that now, right? Because it's like, you're just pretending Twitch doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you like single out an individual and you're like, you point to the terms of service, you're like, well, technically you can't do that. You're like, well, technically what? Twitch exists. What are you talking about right now? Currently, there are thousands of people doing exactly what you said I can't do right now, this second.
Yeah. All right, broadcaster. Well, we have an important preview to get to this evening. Are you ready?
I didn't know it existed.
Has the Force touched you, broadcaster?
Touched me a long time ago. I grew up to be a good man, strong man.
Are you ready to get to our preview of Star Wars Kenobi?
Why does this sound so wrong?
I know.
Kenobi.
I wish they would have come up with a better name.
Obi-Wan. Maybe because that sounds too racist.
The fight is done.
No, it's not, dude.
We lost.
You bitch. Dude, this white guilt. I'm sick of it.
God damn it.
Stay hidden.
Okay, so this is gonna be about him watching Kid Luke.
The key
Okay, pedo
to
Obi-Wan.
hunting Jedi
I was hoping it'd be before that.
is patience.
Oh, who the fuck's that? Looks like Malik.
That's Hayden
cannot
Christensen
help
and Darth
what they
Vader. I'm
are.
pretty sure.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Their
dude.
compassion
What?
leaves a trail.
Strong black woman.
Oh, they got the prequel.
She actually
prequel.
doesn't look too
The
bad.
Jedi code is like an
I like her
itch.
Batman stance on that roof. She seems pretty villainous.
He
I'm not
cannot
gonna lie.
help it.
Here's to
Where
praying.
is he?
I'm gonna pray for her character back. That's Hayden Christensen.
Is that really Vader, dude? Holy fuck.
Dang, dude. What'd that say? Hold up. Go back real quick. What are we doing here? May. That said May.
I think it said May 22nd.
They got 2 months. They got 2 months to cut
Man.
Hayden. I'm sorry, Hayden. I'm always for giving you a chance, but they did you dirty, dude. They did you dirty because that does not look right. It looks like you have an egg for a head, dude.
Dude, like they took, it's like they went back and they looked at that Return of the Jedi scene where he takes his helmet off and they're like, what would that weird egg head look like if it were 15 years younger? And they just like cartooned it up.
Dude.
He looks like a cartoon character, dude.
I didn't think they were going to go for that. Okay.
Dude, where's his mask? Dude, listen.
Exactly. Now
In
that I'm
Revenge of the
thinking about
Sith,
it, I'm
they
just,
show
like,
him in his
thinking
mask.
about it. Yeah, like
Why'd he take it off? Do we like? Oh, maybe there'll be an explanation.
Dude, there's so many questions. Like, one, why doesn't he have it on? And that's what you lead with. You literally debut Hayden Christensen with his mask off. Like,
that makes me think that he is only going to have his mask off, because if you would think if there are parts with his mask on and with off, they would have showed us some with his mask on and kept this as a surprise, like the showing of his face part. Because now think about how you would have reacted that if you were like in the grips of it, you're like episode 4, you're really into it, then they pulled off. Maybe you would have accepted it more or looked at it a little better. But just showing that in the trailer is so jarring. So jarring.
dude, they got to clean that prosthetic up. That's fucking
they're not going to.
looking, dude.
Dude, this isn't Sonic the Hedgehog, man. Like they
Well,
they ain't listening
heard
to the
about
fans.
the Darth Maul thing, right?
What Darth Maul thing?
So Darth Maul was supposed to be the Sith villain in this series, and all the reshoots were him getting cut out and Hayden Christensen coming in to play Darth Vader. Because they had a huge idea change at the last minute.
Whoa.
Yeah, so there's a different series out there supposedly where it's like Darth Maul instead of Darth Vader.
Dude, now that would be a cool Blu-ray bonus feature. The Darth Maul version.
That's why I'm saying they need to clean this prosthetics up, because I know it hasn't been that long on the drawing board, so they need to they need to go back. That looks terrible. Anyway,
Well, we only saw it briefly, but I agree. It did. That angle
That's the
definitely
worst.
didn't make it look good. It was.
I got to bring this back real quick. Hold on, let me just freeze it on him real quick because maybe I'm just seeing things. Maybe it was a bad angle.
He looked a little cartoony, and it was a weird angle. I think that it's possible at other angles because, like, my first reaction when I saw him is that he looked like a chubby Darth Malak from Old Republic, but I don't know. Like, I'll give it a chance. It came off really cartoony. That's what I'll say. Is that didn't look like a George Lucas character.
Hold on a second now.
Yes. What is it, broadcaster?
Is that?
The voice didn't sound like Hayden Christensen. Maybe they altered it to deepen it.
Well, I just froze on the reveal, and he has tattoos on his head. He has like these weird like tattoos, and he has. I don't know. This might be a different Sith Lord.
Okay, that makes me feel better because it was really fast, but when I looked at it, I did not think that was Darth Vader. Like until you said it was Darth Vader.
Yeah, and now that I'm looking at it, he has a double-sided lightsaber, and it spins. It has a circular like device that allows the blades.
Oh
to spin.
shit! That is not Darth Vader then. Okay, we look like fools.
Yeah,
that's okay. But we're really happy that's not Darth Vader. I actually,
guys,
I don't.
I just had my first beer in like 2 years.
So I kind of know who that is then, not 100%, but I play a game called Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and they have been releasing these new characters called the Inquisitors, and they've released 3 or 4 of them so far, and apparently there's like a couple more coming, and they all have lightsabers like that guy that you're saying it's a circular spinning lightsaber.
Well, it's like imagine
it's like a circle with 2 lightsabers on each end that spins, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what the Inquisitors have. So he's one of those Inquisitors, and they're about to release one called the 8th Brother. They're all called like the 3rd Sister, or like the 7th Sister, or the 9th Sister, or the 5th Brother.
Well,
like,
the females have been around for a while.
Well, the 8th Brother is coming out in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes in a couple of days, and one of his moves is he like spins his lightsaber, and it looks like a crazy spinning blade, and it is exactly what you're talking about. So that might be the 8th Brother without his mask on, because they only show him with the mask on in Galaxy of Heroes.
Well, yeah, because from what I understand, like, because the Inquisitors were in Jedi Fallen Order, I think is what it was called, right?
Oh yeah, I quit that game halfway in, but now that you mentioned, I remember.
There's 3 sisters in that game.
Yeah, I think I only met one of them, but yeah, I remember now. I remember that.
Yeah, so they're like the right hand of Darth Vader. So this all kind of makes sense now. That's kind of cool that they're actually expanding the storyline in that way, because I kind of questioned like what they were going to do for the old man Obi-Wan in the desert. Like, what, they're going to have some pod racing scenes, we're going to get like a water crisis saga. Like, what's going on
water crisis saga. The weird guy from Dodgeball is going to show up and complain about the teens in front of his water house. They're stealing my water, General. Oh my god. Yeah. All right. So that's probably one of the brothers. Might be the 8th Brother, but he seemed a little fat. The 8th Brother looked kind of skinny-ish in the game I play. So I'm guessing that it's a different one of the brothers, or maybe it's the Grand Inquisitor. That could be it, because I've heard that there's someone called the Grand Inquisitor that also is bald. So I actually, now that I'm really thinking through this, I think that's probably the Grand Inquisitor that we saw in that trailer.
Mm.
But we shall see. I'm just glad that isn't Darth Vader, because that would have bummed me out a little bit.
That would have been so fucking lame, too.
I was really trying to, leaden the blunt of the blow, but yeah.
My brain went through so many levels of distress there. I was like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Nope. No, too many things don't add up here. That can't be right. Had to go back.
Yeah. So Darth Maul replaced by Darth Vader. Darth Vader not shown in that trailer then. So interesting. Now I am curious because if it's really just Darth Vader, all you need to do is hire James Earl Jones and just get some big guy in a suit. Like, you don't need Hayden Christensen. So the fact that they cast him makes me think that he is going to be shown without his mask at some point in the show.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I think, like, if that was Luke playing with binocular, which you'd have to assume, he's like, what? Like,
5 or
maybe
6.
5 or 6 right there. So
Kenobi's aged a lot for that too, by the way. It's funny how that works out. Like, if Luke is only 5 or 6, he aged horribly.
But how old is he in New Hope? Is he like a teenager?
I think he's like 17. I want to say that, I don't remember if they exactly establish it, but I feel because I've seen that movie so many times as a kid, in my heart, I always believed he was like 17. I could be wrong about that, but that's...
Well, so we'll just say 10 years minimum, 11, 12 years tops.
Probably 12, yeah. You could stretch it to 13 even, maybe. So he aged horribly from Revenge of the Sith to the show, and he's going to age even more horribly into A New Hope. In 12 years, he's going to look like that guy, Sir, whatever his name is. I always forget his name, but the guy who played the original Obi-Wan.
Rest in pepperonis.
Yeah. Man.
He died, right?
Yeah, he's been gone for a long time. I remember back when the VHS special editions came out, then proved the special effects that got all the Star Wars fanboys' panties in a loop back in the day. Like, pre-internet, you'd still like hear like, oh, George Lucas ruined Star Wars, like the same shit you hear today about shit, but like pre-internet. It was crazy, the backlash against those special editions. I loved them. I never saw the originals. Like, I am basically born into those VHS cassettes, so that's what I know and love. So I don't give a fuck.
That's how I watched them.
Yeah,
those same cassettes.
Yeah, but yeah, he never watched Star Wars and he hated it. Like, that was the thing that they talked about in like the special features. Like, I don't remember exactly which one, but someone was talking about him and like saying, yeah, he really resented his role and he wished he didn't do it and all this stuff. And I was just like, holy shit, Obi-Wan Kenobi's a bitch. Like, what the fuck? Rest in peace.
Nah, dude. He's like way fucking cooler than the rest of us. He's like, I can't believe I fucking played pretend with these fucking nerds, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed right now.
I guess he was like one of those like uppity Shakespearean British actors that like did serious shit their entire career, but then took Star Wars for a paycheck at some point.
Yeah, he put on pantaloons and said that he was a thespian or whatever. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guess what, dude? No one knows you for anything except for Star Wars. Congratulations. Hope you're having fun and up there in heaven, Broseph. Anyway, I don't know, Broadcaster. That trailer was very vague. All I can say for sure is that we're going to be seeing 5 years to 7 years after the events of Revenge of Sith. The Inquisitors will be looking for him. He'll be on Tatooine spying on 5-year-old boys playing in sand, which, out of context, does look a little creepy. If you never saw A New Hope and this was your very first Star Wars thing and you watch that trailer, you'd be like, what's going on here? But that's context is key.
I mean, there is no context in this new modern age, dude.
No. Someone probably will do that. They'll go on Twitter and be like, listen, I know we want to be tolerant, but we cannot have pedophilia in our television. He's clearly licking his lips while he looks at that boy.
It's so dry out in the desert. I just need a drink of water, of course, water.
I think my favorite part about that trailer was Duel of the Fates.
Man's a thespian, okay? He's clearly talking about drinking water.
What was your favorite part of the trailer?
Well, realizing that it's not Darth Vader.
True. That's a good one.
Because it got a whole lot better. I gotta say, I was already putting it down as the worst fucking Star Wars Disney show I've seen in a long time, just based on that.
Yeah.
But after, reviewing the records, I mean, it looks vanilla as fuck. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I see a new villain. Two new villains now, possibly 3 new villains based on what you know. So they're literally just squeezing in a new story in the middle of nowhere.
Making Jedi Fallen Order very hard canon too. Like, this is really going to cement that game. And now I feel like I have to go back and beat that game, even though I didn't like it, because they're essentially saying this is a part of Star Wars.
Well, the Inquisitors were part of Star Wars before Fallen Order.
They were in like Rebels, right?
I think they were in Rebels. They were also in comics and books.
Yeah. See, I never watched Rebels, but I definitely don't want to either. So I'd rather play Jedi Fallen Order than go watch Rebels. I watched the first episode and it was just like the characters are just no, thank you.
Yeah.
That's why I like Bad Batch so much, because I was kind of worried about it, but then when I watched, I'm like, these characters are good at least. Like, you have a good starting point. I like all of the characters. Omega's a little iffy, but whatever. You need a Wesley Crusher to add that thorn in your side to make the good parts better, I guess.
None of it seems to stick, though.
So Bad Batch Season 2 is coming after Kenobi, I think, right? I think it got delayed to, like, this summer, I believe. Could be wrong about that. Either way, they're going to be close.
After a whole slew of Star Wars content.
No, the Season 2 of the Bad Batch was delayed. It was originally supposed to be, like, coming out now, and it's instead coming out, I think, in June or July, if I recall. Which sounds like it'll be right after Kenobi finishes. I find that pretty interesting.
Are they just going to keep on... I don't know. So they're just going to keep going with the Clone Wars? I thought the Bad Batch was going to be a one-off.
No, it's at least getting 2 seasons. We'll see. I mean, Clone Wars went like 6 or 7 seasons. I forget exactly, but it went a long time.
It just seems like a vehicle to introduce a new character. That female clone. That's what the whole series comes off to as to me.
I was really hoping it would be a vehicle to eventually get to and explain Grogu from Mandalorian, but I'm starting to lose faith in that theory.
And why would you think that, dude?
All right, Broadcaster. Are you ready to get to our review of the Spider-Man movie of all Spider-Man movies, in which, again, we have a title about going home or being away from home or being home alone? I don't fucking know anymore.
I was going to say, I was like, am I going crazy, or they all have the same fucking name?
Broadcaster, are you ready for our review of Spider-Man No Way Home?
I thought we were reviewing Underworld, starring Kate Beckinsale.
And we're back with our review of Spider-Man No Way Home. And the creator of this movie vision describes it as the following. Peter Parker's secret identity is revealed to the entire world. Desperate for help, Peter turns to Doctor Strange to make the world forget that he is Spider-Man. The spell goes horribly wrong and shatters the multiverse, bringing in monstrous villains that could destroy the world. If that sounds kind of campy and generic, that's because the movie is kind of campy and generic. Broadcaster, what do you think?
Well, I mean, dude. There's so much star power on the screen. It's hard to It's hard to manage that type of talent, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure, dude, when Tobey Maguire came in, when his intro happened, it was my immediate thought was like, oh, you demanded that. Everyone else has their spider suit on, full mask. They had to take it off to reveal themselves. His portal just casually opens up. He's just chilling with his favorite coat and t-shirt on. He's like, "What's up, guys?"
Yeah.
I'm Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. I like how the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man like made a crack about his outfit, saying like, "You look like a cool youth preacher" or something. Like that. That was pretty good.
Yeah, dude, Andrew Garfield knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. I was like, damn. Yep. I never watched his Spider-Mans, but I always know he got hated on.
Yeah, I did not like him. I did. And I have to say this movie was kind of a redemption for him in my eyes. I still don't like him that much, but I liked him more.
I don't like any of them as much as I like Tobey Maguire. None of them would be Tobey Maguire.
No, so. And I really like how Tobey Maguire alphaed the fuck out of the other Spider-Mans in this movie. That's the best part of this movie, by far, is him just alphaing constantly on these fuckers.
But he just gets stabbed, dude. He just takes it.
I've been stabbed plenty of times. Don't worry about it. This movie has a lot of the same problems that I've had with this new Spider-Man series and all the other movies, including Far From Home, which was my least favorite, and Homecoming, which was all right. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was good, and I especially just liked having Michael Keaton as the villain. That is really what made the movie for me. If he wasn't in it, I probably wouldn't have liked it nearly as much. This movie, we still have his annoying girlfriend, MJ, who isn't actually Mary Jane, but like they call her MJ still. And I think there's huge problems with this movie. I mean, doing a multiverse type thing with multiple dimensions is really tough to write, and you're going to run into problems that are hard to resolve. But when they're like all together finally, and they're talking about their versions, like, oh, my Uncle Ben and my MJ, but her name was Mary Jane. And it's just like, well, wait a second. Why? It's not your MJ then. That's not Mary Jane. Why why are you all called Peter Parker, but only one of the MJs, quote unquote, is not Mary Jane? Like there's just a lot of weird, like kind of continuity, sort of like not well thought out aspects to this movie, in my opinion, that stick out.
It's funny you bring that up because Spider-Man has one of the coolest, like, long-term storyline threads in comics where it's like called the Spider-Man conspiracy or the Spider conspiracy or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, it like goes through like really old Spider-Man stories and current ones, and it pretty much insinuates. Well, I'm not trying to spoil anything. I'm just trying to say, like, try to get people interested. Insinuates that there have been multiple Spider-Mans and no one realized it. And certain characters are involved, like the Prowler and Sinestro and
Sinestro.
Other characters like that. So what you were saying just reminded me of it. It kind of was like, maybe that's what they're trying to do in the MCU. Maybe those storyline beats are on purpose, you know, like her name being Michelle instead of Mary, like,
yeah,
maybe Tom Holland's Spider-Man isn't the real Spider-Man, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like. That's the only way it could really make sense, because otherwise it's just poor writing. So it's got to be one or the other.
No doubt about it in my mind.
Yeah. So I think this movie, let's start with the first act, which is like everyone knows who Spider-Man is. Spider-Man panics. Everyone hates Spider-Man and his friends. Can't go to college. Cry, cry, whine, whine. Let's go meet Doctor Strange and do a universe-breaking spell. What did you think about that first act? Because I hated it. I I wanted to turn the movie off a little bit. Like I was getting the same feeling I got from Far From Home, where I'm just like, man, this sucks. I just don't even want to watch this.
I was just really surprised how slow it was. All of it was. I was like, man, this all has no like progression, like real like strong progression to it. It just seems like nonchalantly falling into like destroying the universe as you know it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the way he just casually goes over to fucking Doctor Strange to be like, let's just make some people forget. And then they even make fun of the premise of the fucking movie up until that point, where Doctor Strange is just like, wait a minute, you didn't try something else out before you came over to my house and got me to fucking try to ruin everything, dude?
Yeah, that was cringe.
It's like, dude.
Yeah, that was really cringy.
You're pointing out the fucking shitty plot to your movie, guys.
Yeah, well, it's a writing term called hanging a lantern on it. It's like if you mention it, then it doesn't count. Like it's a writing room thing, and it doesn't work anymore because people know what it is that you're doing, in my opinion. But they still do it, and they did it in this movie, and it was, man, yeah.
It did get better though. I think after, like, soon as the villains and everybody got introduced, it was all nostalgic for me. Member berries, as some people say.
Right, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, when I really look at this movie and I like dissect out like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man elements, I don't like this movie. Really, it's those elements that make me sort of like this movie. It's just everything in the first act sucks. There's no character development. It's just a bunch of kind of like, oh no, we're supposed to be worried because we're not going to college and that's the worst thing in the world. So yeah, like you said, now we're going to go ask Mr. Strange to fucking break the universe so we can get into college. It's just the most inane bullshit. The only good part I thought about Act 1 was when he's casting the spell and Spider-Man kept interrupting him and changing it as he was doing it, just because it reminded me of the comic books. It's like something comic book Spider-Man would do.
For sure. Yeah, the acting's not bad by anybody, really, in my opinion. It's just a lame fucking story. It's so mundane. Like you pointed out, how many times, this is the third movie, right? With Tom Holland?
Yep.
Dude.
Yep.
We don't need, like, the half the movie to be securing friendship with his girlfriend and his best friend.
No, you do that in the first movie.
Yeah, I just, it's crazy that they took up because this is a 2.5 hour movie. It took up like almost a solid hour, I think, of doing that.
Yeah,
you know?
And how the fuck did M. Night Shyamalan's kid get into this movie as that weird extra guy? You know, the guy who's like, oh, I'm actually his best friend. Here, read my book. You know that guy?
No way.
That's
dude.
M. Night Shyamalan's kid.
That's props to him, dude.
How the fuck did he get it? Like, how in the hell?
I'm gonna call him young Shyamalan.
How the fuck did he get in this movie? It makes no sense,
dude. Why, dude? What kind of mentality is that, dude? Why not? The young Shyamalans, they need more spotlight, dude. People shout on that kid's dad for far too long, dude. The Village ruled, in my opinion.
Yeah,
dude. Every time I bring up The Village, people are like, that movie was terrible. I was like, you're terrible.
You're
fuck off.
I actually don't even know if that's really M. Night Shyamalan's kid. I just know he's in a lot of M. Night Shyamalan movies. I'm just assuming he's his kid.
You got me with that one.
He's been in like every M. Night Shyamalan thing that's come out in the last 6 years, so I'm just assuming it's his kid. Like why else is he in everything he does? But who knows?
I totally just was like, yeah, it makes sense.
Anyway, moving on. So Act 2, I loved Act 2. I think Act 2 is the only good part of the movie. I don't like Act 3 either very much. We'll get into that, though. Act 2 is the villains. It starts with all the villains showing up and him kind of capturing them all and like teleporting them into their jail cells. I loved that
I
concept.
call it the cuckening of the villains.
Yeah. We also get like the Inception style Doctor Strange versus Spider-Man fight, which was one of the best parts of the movie as well. And, then we get like we're not going to send the villains back, we're going to rehabilitate them thing, which is super like naive, cringy kind of bullshit, but I still liked it, you know.
I mean, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah, it fits.
Rolled.
It fits. It's dumb, but it fits. And it was kind of fun to just see him hanging out with Dr. Octopus and Green Goblin. Like it's just no big deal and like a condo.
Dude,
like it's just, I don't know.
Let's get to the real, like while we're on Act 2, because this is important. How the fuck did Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin not get swayed by hot Aunt May? If anything was gonna cure, there's no fucking science serum, fucking nerd shit that's gonna cure Green Goblin. Aunt May's pussy would have definitely cured it, but he didn't even try, dude. He was just like, nah, dude, I'm gonna kill all you fuckers.
Well, I mean,
that's crazy to me. I was like, damn, dude, I think Defoe's turning a leaf, dude. I think he's gonna start banging Aunt May because she just dumped fucking Happy. I was like, oh shit, this would be the craziest twist, dude. Fucking alternate universe, fucking Green Goblin starts banging. Aunt May, dude.
Yeah, not while Disney owns Marvel, I'm afraid. But
get at me, dude. I'll make the stories you guys need.
This is one of those funny times though, where you look at it and it's like, yeah, if this were real life, there would be a lot more macking on Aunt May going on than there is in the scene. Jamie Foxx is quite a bit younger than Marissa Tomei, but Marissa Tomei is aging very well, and I guarantee you Jamie Foxx would still be macking on that in a real life circumstance if that were all real.
Dude, if I was Tom Holland, I'd be trying to get at that, dude.
Well, I mean,
like I'm upside down, like, oh man,
I'm pretty sure that Aunt May isn't actually blood related to him in the comic books, right? She's like kind of like an adopted aunt or something like that. Is that not true?
So you want to see some like step on?
Well, I'm just saying it's not. I think, like, if I'm wrong, then never mind. But I'm pretty sure that they're not blood related. So,
Yeah, I'm just saying, maybe if you open your Google search bar.
Oh, I'm sure that doesn't exist. There's no way that
some Spider-Man step on.
But yeah, so Spider-Man takes them to the condo, just chills for a bit, they starts curing them all with these weird inventions he's making with Tony Stark's magic machine replicator from Star Trek. And it gets to the last
fucking
one.
Throwaway point in the storyline. It's like, wow, cool.
Mm-hmm. And they get to the Green Goblins one, and then the spider sense starts tingling, and of course we find out that it's because Green Goblin's taken over. And I don't know, that scene I didn't like. Like, it felt really cliche.
Dude, they were all acting shady, dude.
Yeah.
Like, all over the apartment, dude, they were acting like it was about to be a gangbang. They were like, Tom, you need to leave.
That's what I mean, like in real life.
So odd.
That's the thing, like, real life energy does seep into cinema. So you were feeling like the real life, like, everyone's hanging out in that condo, like, damn, dude, my cousin
nice
Vinny.
Apartment, dude. Yeah, exactly. Nice apartment, Tom.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. So anyway, Green Goblin turns on him. Then we're led to believe that Electro was gonna go along with it, but then when Green Goblin decided to go rogue, he decided to join him, which I wasn't buying that either. I kind of think it's like you're either gonna go with it or you're not. I don't know about that. I think it was just meant to paint him in a more positive manner than just like a straight up villain.
I think it painted him in a worse manner, because now it just goes to show you he's a dude that just goes with the flow.
Yeah, flip-flopper for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doc Octopus stays good the entire movie. I'm glad they did that. It would have been really cringy if he just like went right back to being evil again. And I kind of expected him to do it just because of the way the movie was going with the writing. I was like, yeah, they're just going to do that. And they didn't. They stuck with him being good. Was really surprised that the I don't know his name, the guy who's like Earth, like You know, Captain Planet Earth Ring guy, whatever the fuck.
Oh, Sandman?
Is that Sandman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you talking about the guy made out of sand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why he became a villain. Like, they didn't really explain that. Like, he was kind of on Spider-Man's side from the beginning. And then he's like, well, I'm joining the bad guys.
Well, what happened was, I actually thought that was a pretty well-written part because he was a good guy, but he got pulled out of his universe anyways because he knew Spider-Man's identity, and he had a daughter to go back to. And he had no way to go back, and he thought that, like, when everybody started to betray Spider-Man, that was pretty much his only way to get back. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know where I was going with that. Now that I think about it, I'm like, it was kind of a shitty plot.
Okay, yeah. So I think that you were just like thinking of better writing and overlaying it on their bad writing. That's what I was doing. Yeah, because this part, like when he started to join them, I'm just like sitting there like, okay, like, like, could you not cut like 15 minutes of the fucking first act garbage and given us a little bit more to explain why he became a bad guy all of a sudden? I just didn't like that.
Dude, they definitely should have cut some of it and introduced Venom.
Like, oh, well, that's another thing.
That should have not been a fucking end credit. Well, I don't know what it was. But it should have been the end of the movie.
I was going to get to that, but we'll just get to it now since you bring it up. The only snub, Topher Grace's Venom. We get Doc Octopus, we get Green Goblin, we get Electro, we get fucking Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. Who's left out? Topher Grace's Venom. He got snubbed.
Maybe.
Oh, he did, dude. Come on. Why would you bring Sandman or the Lizard guy when you could have brought Venom? Like, you can just tell.
Because Venom exists already.
Well, the alternate
I don't think it's
dimension.
I think it's just unfortunate timing because his character that he played is actually currently played by somebody else. In Hollywood
They wrote it already to explain how that would work, though, because the Venom in the current Venom movies, not made by Marvel, made by Sony or whatever, they show him in the post-credit scene. He was pulled in too, hanging out at a bar the whole time, just asking questions about that universe, and then he gets pulled back to his own dimension at the very end in the post-credit scene. He wasn't that world's Venom. So there was no Venom ever portrayed in this new Spider-Man 3 movie universe that exists in the MCU. There is no Venom.
Yeah.
There's no Doc Octopus either, but they brought Doc Octopus. You know what I mean? Like, this is purposeful.
The multiverse is happening.
I'm telling you right now, this was purposeful. Someone either doesn't like Topher Grace, or maybe Tobey Maguire said it's him or me. I don't know.
Oh, dude,
but
no
something,
way,
dude, there's no way. They brought everyone else except for him. And the only way you even know he exists is because of that dumb throwaway line they do with real Spider-Man's best friend, Ned or whatever, where he's like talking to Tobey Maguire as he's fixing some mechanical thing. And he's like, have you ever heard a friend or lost a friend? And Tobey Maguire's like, yeah, I lost my best friend. I had to kill him. He died in my arms or some shit like that. Remember that line?
Yeah,
that's what
I had to kill him because he died trying to kill me or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly. He was talking about Topher Grace's Venom. So they give this one throwaway line.
He's talking about Willem Dafoe's son, fucking James Franco.
Oh, is that what he was talking about?
Yeah, no doubt.
Maybe I'm not remembering. I thought Topher Grace was his friend originally in Spider-Man 3. Is that not true?
No. So, like in the comics, there's Hobgoblin and Green Goblin. Green Goblin's OG. That's Willem Dafoe's character. That's what's his actual name? Fucking something Osborn. I forget. But then his son actually turns into the successor of that villain, the Hobgoblin. And that's in Tobey Maguire's movies, his best friend.
Okay, so refresh me on Spider-Man 3. Was Topher Grace's character not friends with Peter Parker before they became enemies?
No, they were like rivals. He was Eddie Brock was another journalist, like photographer, like competing.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a really long time since I saw that movie. I thought they were friends for some reason originally, but okay, so they don't even mention him at all, and he's totally not in this movie in words or in person. So yeah, I'm gonna call that a snub. And
I think that might be, in my opinion, I think that's more of a Sony thing than a Marvel thing. I think Sony's just like, hey, we're playing ball with you. We're letting you use our assets. We got this contract in place. We don't want you coming in with fucking another version of Venom and giving spotlight on that Venom, all while, I could see something like that in talks,
it's possible.
I don't think it's really a fucked over Grace thing, which would be funny. Don't get me wrong. If there's just somebody who's like, fuck that guy.
Yeah,
I hate that 70s show. It sucked.
I'll grant that could be possible, but I'd say it's a coin flip. I don't think it's highly likely that Sony would give a fuck about bringing in old Venom from an old Spider-Man, because didn't Sony produce Spider-Man 3? Isn't
it
that
just makes it convoluted, right? Because if you think about it, there's
the
already
whole
3
movie's
Spider-
convoluted. There's 3 different Spider-Mans. There's villains
3
from
Spider-Mans.
every...
You're gonna do 2 Venoms? You're gonna do 2 Venoms?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Okay, whatever, man. This whole movie is a convoluted fuckfest, and you're like, we can't go that far, though. I mean, okay, maybe Sony is that
2.5
naive,
hours,
but...
bro. Like, come on. If we got Topher Grace, then that'd be another 20 minutes.
Yeah. All right. Well, either way, I find it very, very, very peculiar because Venom is essentially the most popular Spider-Man villain. Essentially, he is. Todd McFarlane designed him, and Todd McFarlane's like a legendary artist. So
Spawn.
Yeah, and so I find it crazy. I like when he didn't show, like when we first see all the villains show up, I'm like, this is cool. But where the fuck is Venom? Venom doesn't show up. Then we get all the other Spider-Mans, and I'm like, okay, Tobey Maguire is going to show up. They got, like, maybe he's just like hiding in the brush waiting to jump out. He never shows up. And to me, when I think about, like, it's just like, it's like doing an X-Men movie without Wolverine. It's just like you cutting the most popular character from a movie like this, which the whole point is to bring in all these other Spider-Man universes. I just found it nuts, personally.
Well, hold on a second. Did Venom actually get killed? Oh, actually, no, they brought in everybody before they died.
Exactly.
So it didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think it would have been pretty cool that at the very end, instead of, it would have been both of them at the bar, just drinking, just been like, fuck those guys, dude. That would have been way lame.
Exactly.
Involved.
Exactly. Like, there's so many ways you could have done it. It's just like, it's crazy to me that he was just excommunicated from this movie. It feels like that to me. But, all right.
Or maybe just be the bartender. That would have been cool.
That would have been weird.
Bartender.
That would have been weird, though, because then you'd be like, damn, he got cucked.
He got cucked.
He's the extra bartender, right? At the end.
More when you think about it, it is kind of weird that Toby didn't show up. Or Topher.
Yeah, it's Topher Grace, who most people know as the main character from that 70s show. And
which was good for about 2 seasons.
Yeah. All right, well, so yeah, Aunt May dies. And
she gets a pumpkin bomb right up the tookish.
Yeah, she did, and I liked everything leading up to her death, but when she actually died, like the sort of forced emotion. Did you feel forced emotion? Like, I didn't buy it. Like all of the grieving, all the crying, it just didn't come across very genuine.
I don't know. It didn't seem too bad. I think, is it Marissa Tomei? Is that her name? I think her dying, like, face and like acting, like physical acting, was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to throw shade on my queen, but that's gonna have to be said.
Yeah.
Tom Holland, I mean, no homo. He did a great job crying, dude. He looked like a little bitch.
He did, but it looked. I don't know, man. There's something about it. It just didn't seem genuine. Like, it was good acting, but you could just feel that it was acting. But I don't know. It's whatever. It's neither here nor there. I don't really dock the movie for any of that. I just kind of rolled my eyes a little bit.
Harder.
It just felt like one of those moments like where there's a sign for an audience. It's like, cue applause, cue crying. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what it felt like to me. But rest in peace, Aunt May, the only hot Aunt May that exists as far as I know.
I wonder what Marissa's going to do now.
Yeah. Maybe she can join the cast of Always Sunny.
Can we just throw out the existing rating system into Marissa Tomei rating system?
You do pick the next one next year, so
that's far too long, dude. I'm gonna forget about it.
You get plenty of time. You write it down on your
to-do list. News, too.
Yeah, she'll age like fucking Obi-Wan from Revenge of the Sith to Kenobi. Oh shit! So another thing I hated about this scene, after Aunt May dies and the cops show up, Happy shows up, who's played by our boy Jon Favreau, who's currently saving Star Wars. He's taken a day off to come do this cameo for this movie, where he's looking really fat and really old, but God bless him, he's saving Star Wars.
Dude, his energy is that the whole movie. He's just like, hey guys, just stopping by.
Yep.
When he like pulled his car up in that scene when what was that, dude?
Exactly. That's what I was getting to.
Peter.
It was inane. Like, first of all, there would never be a cop line that would allow that guy to get through. Like, there would be 100 emergency vehicles blocking the way to get there. He just casually rolls up in his fucking Benz or whatever the fuck he's driving, then like gets all surprised and looks at Aunt May dead and like does his little emotion.
And then he's like, get off me. You know, like, when they put him on the fucking head, it's like...
Yeah. He's like,
opening fire on Spider-Man. That was pretty heavy. But...
Run, Spider-Man, run. That whole part, super lame. Then we get to the part where we introduce all the new Spider-Mans, where Ned, the friend, becomes Doctor Strange's apprentice conveniently and can just randomly open portals with that ring thing.
Pretty fucking dumb.
Another horrible writing decision. I would have rather MJ have gotten that power than him, to be honest, but either way, it would have been bad regardless. But anyway, he opens portals and gets all the Spider-Men together, and they have this weird scene where MJ asks Andrew Garfield to prove he's Spider-Man. It's like, bitch, you opened a portal. He came through in a spider suit. The fuck? Like, that was really weird.
Away dialogue. It's like hanging off the ceiling. That's not enough. You got to crawl. It's like, okay, sure.
And we haven't really gotten into the interesting thing with that Alex Jones caricature, which, by the way, for Alex Jones being so hated by Hollywood, they include a Alex Jones character in like half of every movie coming out.
Are you talking about what's his name from the Daily Bugle?
Yeah, dude. The whole thing was framed as Alex Jones, from his studio, from his voice, from the way he talks to his guests. Like, everything about it was Alex Jones.
He's OG. He's been around since Tobey Maguire.
Well, they pretend to hate him, but they put an Alex Jones character in like everything. It's crazy. Every time I see another one, I'm like, holy fuck.
I think is James Johansson, or I forget the character's name, but
yeah, I don't know.
His character's been in all the Spider-Mans almost.
Since he was. I don't even remember him from the other ones, but I'll bet he was in it.
Yeah, he's OG, man.
Either way, it's an Alex Jones character yet again, where I'm just like, okay,
Nah, dude, that's you projecting.
No, that's
On
dude.
that character.
Everything about that was Alex Jones. Everything.
His set, I'll give you the set and everything in this particular mode.
They even
is
call
definitely, like,
they even call it controversial news organization, the Daily Bugle, which is exactly what they say about InfoWars.
yeah.
It's dude, it was word for word, like it's totally an Alex Jones
Once the
character.
reset happened, he turned back into like his normal Daily Bugle, like, you know, running a huge business type thing.
Yeah, where he sold supplements.
Yeah, that was the pre, like, where the one where because that was the context of that was no one was believing him that he was Spider-Man, right? And then all of a sudden he like got proven right, and he was like the one thing he got proven right with. He was like this Alex Jones type guy, right? Trying to peddle you stuff on his YouTube channel. But then when the universe reset happened, he turned back into the character he's always been.
No, dude, in this movie, he had a scene where he was hawking the supplements, dude.
Yeah, that's before the Doctor Strange reset. Like when he makes everyone.
Right,
That's what I'm saying. Like when you see it at the end, he's just normal James Johansson from the Daily Bugle. It was just like a one-time thing. It's not like his whole character. Like I said, he's been around since the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans.
Well, it was in this movie, in all the scenes I saw him in till the very end, he was an Alex Jones ripoff, which is fine. I'm just calling it out that Hollywood really likes to make versions of him despite saying they hate him. Find that interesting.
Listen, dude. Don't get on the old shooting thing.
Shooting thing. What the fuck?
Not one of those.
That thing where the shooting thing.
I can't name it. That thing.
Moving on. Broadcaster Nickels. So we get to the end of Act 2, which is Spider-Man being pissed that but Aunt May's dead, and he's about to press the button, and then why does he not press the button again? I forget. What makes him not do it?
Because he wants to save him.
But he already tried that, and he was going to press the button anyway because he failed, right? Was it the girlfriend that convinces him not to? I don't know. This part is where I started to like sort of fall off again. Like I was interested.
Forgot.
Yeah, I was interested for a while, and then like once it got to like the villains betraying and Aunt May dying, I was kind of like, oh god, here we go. And anyway, we get into the third act, and then it just becomes, let's hatch a plan to still save them all, and we go to the fucking Statue of Liberty, which is getting retrofitted with a Captain America shield, which was ultra cringy too.
It was pretty dumb.
I was like, okay. Good Spider-Man banter though. When they're like talking to each other, like one on one. I liked all that. That was funny. Other than that though, I thought the fights were kind of like phoned in. Like I said, I did not like the sand guy just becoming a villain without any explanation. Thought that was pretty bad. What did you overall think about the third act? Because I didn't like it very much. I liked it more in the first act, but not as much as the second act at all.
It was hype. I mean, I've never been impressed by any of the Spider-Man movies, really, so I wasn't really surprised by anything in the movie too much. But I thought when the like a Captain America shield falls and it's like halfling in the water, that reminded me of like a Marvel vs. Capcom level.
Oh hell yeah!
When Green Goblin and Spider-Man were fighting on it, like that whole thing, I was like, man, this just looks like a Marvel vs. Capcom fight.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole scene was pretty cool. You know, seeing all the Spider-Mans fly around and fight Electro. Oh yeah, we haven't really talked about Jamie Foxx's Electro. He killed it. I thought he was pretty funny. He was even making fun of himself. He kept on bringing up the fucking vat of eels. He's just like, I fell into a pool of eels, electric eels. Yeah,
I mean, he was good. I I think he did good with what was given to him, but the writing he was given wasn't exactly great. But I think he did a lot with it.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, on the other hand, I don't know what to make of Doctor Strange in this movie. He just seems like a retard, essentially.
That fucking what's his name? Cumberbunch. Benedict Cumberbunch.
I don't read. I've never read Doctor Strange comics. I'm not like really familiar with Doctor Strange that much, but
He's way cooler in the comics.
he seemed cooler in the Doctor Strange movie too. Like, it's just in this movie, it seems like he's a bit of a like Homer Simpson. Like the way that Spider-Man. The way that Spider-Man shows up and he's just like asks him to do this dumb thing that no one in the, like if you asked your parent would call you stupid and send you to your room without dinner. And he's just like, well, I guess we'll do it. And like, he doesn't bother to ask him about modifiers of the spell before he's casting it, which is also really dumb. And then at the end, where we're at in the the Statue of Liberty, Spider-Man's like, "What? You gotta stop." And he's like, "I can't stop it." And he's like, "What if you just make everyone forget?" You'd be like, "Oh yeah, that would work. But then your girlfriend wouldn't remember you." Like, what, bitch? You could have saved this shit and you're waiting for Spider-Man to give you the go-ahead so that his girlfriend could remember it and not. It was dumb, man. Like, it's so
like
stupid.
The Sorcerer fucking Supreme.
Yeah.
Fucking make executive decisions.
Yeah. No, he seemed like a sort of an idiot in this movie and not very impressive at all. So I'm just kind of like, are they just setting him up to be replaced by fucking Scarlet Witch to be Sorcerer Supreme? Is that why they're making him look like an idiot so that people accept it more when she takes over?
Something like that, because he definitely, the actor, Benedict, he's like turned into a complete fucking wacko. He like
Really?
thinks, yeah, he's one of those like men are toxic type of guys.
Oh, wonderful.
So I'm certain he's on the set just being like, cuck my character as much as possible, guys. Like just fucking step on me.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, well, I did like the alpha move by Tobey Maguire to block the death blow by young Spider-Man. And he smiled as he got stabbed in the back by Green Goblin. That's what I love most about it, is that he still got stabbed in the back anyway.
This actually brings up a good point I want to talk about. Him surviving that stab made me realize, like when they were all surprised, well, Tom Holland at least was surprised, made me think, because they pointed out the fact that Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield's characters both had mechanisms to shoot their spider webs, and Tobey Maguire's was actually genetic from the spider web.
Yeah.
So when he gets, I'm wondering if like Tobey Maguire's character is actually stronger than the rest of them.
Oh, he clearly is, dude.
He has more spider serum inside of him.
Yeah, he definitely.
Yeah. Because he just fucking took a spinal, like a dual wielded, like what that was like a claw knife thing. So 2 blades went up his fucking spine, and he just like took it. What?
Yeah, and that's again another reason that I give this movie credit, is they really cement Tobey Maguire as being like the alpha Spider-Man. Like, he's the strongest, he's the coolest, he gets the best lines of all the Spider-Men. He's just, he shows up, he kicks ass, and he goes home pretty quick, but he does the job. And I'm glad, because he's my Spider-Man. He got a lot of respect in this movie.
In words of Jamie Foxx, why can't we get a black Spider-Man? There has to be one out there somewhere.
Oh, God. That was a little weird, too. It was like, yeah, we all know about Miles Morales, dude. Like, why do we have to say shit like that? It's like, the way it's written is almost like saying there isn't one. And like, why, how dare there not be one? But it's like, everyone who knows just a little bit of Spider-Man beyond like super mainstream knows that there's a black Spider-Man. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if it was meant to be like sarcastic. The way it came off though was just sort of like preachy to me.
Comedic pandering.
Exactly. It seemed like it was pandering to woke washers, to me, but whatever.
Sorry, we had 3 white guys starring this film, guys. Our bad.
Exactly. So yeah, Doctor Strange, once he gets permission from young Spider-Man to erase everyone's memories, it happens, and then he goes off and rents an apartment, which he puts I think he puts an Emperor Palpatine Lego up on his... Was that what that was? Or was that a different comic book villain that just looks like Palpatine?
Wait a minute. I didn't see that.
So like when he gives in his apartment after the reset at the very end, like he starts setting up his stuff and you didn't see him set the little Lego guy up. It looked like Palpatine to me, and he had like a little lightning bolt coming from his hand, but I was thinking it could be like Doctor Doom, maybe. I don't know. It was just generic and vague enough that it could have been a few different characters, but my mind initially went to Palpatine.
I think I missed that.
All right. Well,
damn. Now I want to.
Yeah, I thought for sure you'd know who it was, because it seemed like it might be Doctor Doom or some other character that you might know better or have seen Legos of. I've not been involved in the Lego scene in a very long time. But anyway, so then this is basically the end. He goes to meet his friends who don't remember him. He's going to give them some speech. And instead, he just sort of like aborts the speech and smiles at him and then decides to just leave him alone, which I don't know. I mean, it's the smart thing to do, but it's still at the same time felt a little like, I don't know, you promised these fuckers you were going to at least try to make them remember, and you didn't even bother.
You totally just folded on your promise immediately.
It felt a little shady, honestly. Like, he's like, well, maybe I can upgrade to Ciara, you know? Like, maybe I don't need Zendaya.
Andrew was talking about a Gwen? There's a Gwen out there? Well, maybe.
And there's a lot smarter Asian friends I can have, too. I mean, I could go get that kid from Silicon Valley, you know? Yeah. So anyway, that's the end, and then we get like the post-credit scene we already talked about with Venom, kind of just asking about this universe and blipping out, and this whole blipping out thing really looked a lot like the finger snap from Infinity War, which I also kind of thought was a little pandery, like, hey, remember that awesome movie that you used to love us and we used to be good and now we don't? This is kind of like that. What'd you think about that aspect? Like the way they just sort of snapped out.
I mean, what is there to say other than...
Well, the fact that they're all doing it at different times, and like, it's like, what determines when who goes first? You'd think it just all happened at the same time, but like they all get like their plot armor that prevents them from going until they're done saying their line. I don't know. I just thought it was dumb.
I think it's like the suspension of...
You think this entire movie, massive suspension of disbelief?
You're supposed to like think that multiple scenes are happening at the same time, but you can't watch them all at the same time, so you know.
Yeah.
Like when you see the bar scene, that could have been happening at the same time.
Well, that could have been. But I'm talking about the ones that were happening live on the scene, you know what I mean?
Oh.
Like Andrew Garfield went first, and then Tobey Maguire went a few seconds later, and I don't know, it just felt like it was happening in the order that the director wanted it to happen, not how you would think it would happen logically.
Any other way would happen? I mean,
I don't fucking know.
Work.
I don't know.
Are you one of those retards?
And then I think the weirdest part of this entire movie is the very, very, very end when fucking Eddie Brock gets, finger snapped back to Sony, and we find a little piece of Venom sticks around, which makes absolutely no sense. Can you explain that one to me, Broadcaster?
No, it doesn't make any sense at all.
I sat there and I'm just like, okay,
like, can Venom, maybe like the sentient part of Venom, because I know like symbiotes are always like offshooting other symbiotes, so it's like at any given moment, like one of those little segments could come off of a symbiote, and maybe one of them had the power to like bend space and time and stay in the universe it didn't belong in. I don't know. I can kind of see it, but
well, then why didn't the entire symbiote stay behind? You know what I mean? It's like if you want to say the symbiotes have like this extra dimensional power to resist dimensional transport, then why only did a tiny, tiny piece of the symbiote stay and not the whole thing?
Well, it's because technically it's a different symbiote. That's like how they work, right? So like it bred a different symbiote. That little chunk you saw on the table technically is a
so you think, okay, that's not, I wasn't taking that from us. You actually think this is just procreation. You don't think it was an actual, it's just a piece of Venom. So what you're telling me right now is that you think when the next movie comes out that, continues this, because clearly this was meant to say, guess what's coming up? We're going to get Venom in the MCU. That's clearly what this was meant to do. So you don't think it's going to be Venom. You think it's going to be like a different symbiote.
It could be like an alternate universe Venom or whatever like that.
Well, then that wouldn't be procreation, right? So like that's cloning.
Yeah, I mean, it could be all kind of like, who knows what type of fucking magic they'll work on it. But the thing is like the whole basis to this idea, this theory is that a chunk of Venom came off right when they were being taken back into their respective universes. And the only reason a chunk of Venom would come off willingly would be one of two reasons. The Venom that Eddie Brock is being, hosted. The Venom that is hosted by Eddie Brock right now is lying to him and there's some agenda he's trying to do. Or that's the normal breeding process of all symbiotes, and that's an offshoot. And it happened just conveniently right when they were returning. So he couldn't get it back or like be warned of it, which, who knows what it will turn into. Maybe they'll do some universal mumbo jumbo or whatever. And like, that's an alternate universe Venom. Because remember, there was once upon a time, there was a Venom that had no host. Remember, there was just a giant fucking Venom that was just pure goop. And it was pretty dope. So like, maybe we'll get that type of Venom eventually. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I'll say that's the key word for me on this movie is convenient. Everything is very convenient in
That's
this
MCU
movie.
in a nutshell right now.
It is now, yeah. Like nothing really feels organic. It just feels forced. I was really going into this movie with high hopes because it has like a 96 on Rotten Tomatoes with the critics and has like a 98 with the fans. So like a 98 with the fans to me means this is a great movie. And I was really disappointed based on that. So I kind of wish I went in with less hopes. I might have liked the movie more. I was going in pretty psyched for it. And yeah, I was very disappointed with the movie overall.
I don't think it was terrible.
No, it's not terrible. It's just not great, It's just not a 98, you know what I mean? Like I was going in expecting a 98. So speaking of ratings, broadcaster, that leads me to our official patented Ghostbusters rating system in which we rate all of our reviews for this calendar year of 2022. Broadcaster, would you care to give us your handcrafted review score for Spider-Man No Way Home?
It's just another movie I just want to slime, I just want to slime.
You want to slime you said that about everything we've reviewed this year, I think. I just want to slime it.
Why can't we just slime the movie? It's not bad. It's a Vigo. It's just right there in the middle. It's right there.
A Vigo, yeah.
It's nothing special.
So do we have a subcategory for this
on
Vigo?
Broadway, it's like
we discussed subcategories last episode. So what kind of Vigo is this? What flavor of Vigo?
Refresh my memory.
Well, we had an equity gozer, and we had and we had Broom Witch Vigo.
Broom witch.
Remember the guy at the end becoming the witch on the broom?
Yeah.
And then wait, we had a good one for Slimer too. I forget, you had a good one for Slimer. I forget what it was. Oh, Prophet Slimer. I loved that one. I hope we get to do a Prophet Slimer someday.
Must have been a few IPAs deep when that was happening. I'm gonna give this a Prophet Slimer, dude. Through. All right, I want to give it a Vigo subcategory Prophet Slimer.
That's not how it works. All right, now we're breaking the rules more than this movie did.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of more subcategories because I want to get Room Witch Vigo. It sounds like I'm showing a room up his ass.
Well, if you look at the picture of Vigo, it does kind of look like there might be broom up his ass.
Dude, those were hard fucking times, dude. You lost your whole family to like 2 days of winter because you didn't have like enough blankets or something.
Yeah. Like, yeah, Vigo's backstory was pretty dark.
My wife more to make more blankets for the winter. Fuck.
Yeah. All right, well.
Anyways, I'm going to give it a wife beater Vigo.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and give it a Caitlyn Jenner gozer. This is a gozer, but
gozer already looks like Caitlyn Jenner.
Well, no, you're taking it a different direction. So this is a gozer, but it's a gozer that might run over your grandma on the Hollywood Hills and then get away with it. You know what I mean?
Damn, that was an attack.
Yeah. I just mean like this movie sort of like it comes in with a 98 and it sort of steals your lunch money and says, "Gotcha." That's kind of the vibe I get from it. It's weird. I know it's definitely my expectations going into it, but still, it's like it's not a critic 98. It's an audience 98. Like, I just don't get it. Like, what did people see in this movie that I'm not seeing? I loved the second act, and I there's parts of it I like, but half of this movie sucked. Like, inarguably, in my opinion, just half of it just sucked.
That's why he gets fucking 50%, dude.
Yeah. And with that, we'll close out.
We do Stepmom Zool.